Back in 2024, Chennedy Carter blindsided Caitlin Clark with a hit that sparked controversy across the WNBA and forced the league to deal with the fallout. Chicago eventually moved on from her, and when the 2025 season arrived, no WNBA team was willing to sign her. Instead, she spent time playing in Mexico and China just to stay on the court. Later, Carter appeared on a podcast, apologized for the past, and earned another opportunity with the Las Vegas Aces. Many people questioned whether she had truly earned that second chance. They got their answer when the Indiana Fever faced the Las Vegas Aces on July 5, the first time Carter had played against the Fever since the 2024 incident. It wasn't the comeback story she had hoped for because Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark's biggest protector, completely shut her down from start to finish. Let us know your thoughts on Sophie Cunningham in the comments below. Before we break down how Sophie took over against Carter, let's look back at Carter's history with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter, I think that's going to be a flagrant one. And
now let's go back to June 2024 when the Chicago Sky faced the Indiana Fever. The ball had already gone out of bounds, the play was over, and Caitlin Clark wasn't even looking in Chennedy Carter's direction. That's the part people still remember. Carter squared up, planted her feet, and drove her shoulder and body straight into Clark, knocking her to the floor even though the play was already dead. There was no steal to make, no rebound to fight for, and no basketball play to justify it. It was simply a hard hit after the whistle. The officials saw it happen and called it nothing more than a common foul, the same type of foul you might see during a routine battle for position under the basket. It took a video review, widespread backlash, and plenty of public attention before the WNBA upgraded the play to a flagrant one foul. Clark got back up and brushed it aside, telling reporters that basketball is competitive and emotions sometimes get the better of players. Carter, however, stood in front of the media after the game and refused to answer a single question about Clark, choosing not to address the incident at all.
And then Chennedy just give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin. What was that play, what was said, and kind of what led to.
Next question.
Yeah, I mean, play before Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit.
Yeah.
After
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough. We're good.
She's good.
Chicago didn't waste much time after that. Carter was averaging 17.5 points per game, yet the Sky still chose not to offer her another contract. That wasn't simply a basketball decision based on statistics. It was an organization deciding the problems surrounding her were no longer worth her production on the court. Reports around the league suggested the locker room had been dealing with Carter's behavior for quite some time, and this was the moment it finally caught up with her. One anonymous executive described her value with a single word: radioactive. That one word explained everything because it meant teams didn't want the attention or drama that came with signing her. All 11 other WNBA teams looked at her talent, reviewed her production, and still decided to pass. The silence from around the league said everything.
Seriously, she needs to do whatever she can to get some help, get her anger under control, where she will not have another incident like the one where she slammed into Caitlin Clark, but she's out of the league.
So, in 2025, Carter had to continue her career overseas just to stay on the court. She first signed with Atletas de Chihuahua in Mexico before moving to China to play for Wuhan Chengfan. She put up incredible numbers there, averaging 31.4 points per game and winning the Chinese League MVP award. But her success overseas didn't change anything because the league had already made up its mind before she ever played abroad. Then came the podcast appearances. Carter sat down with streamer Neon and finally addressed the hit on Clark. She called it a little "I'm here" energy tap and claimed she had been elbowed first, something she never mentioned right after the game. She even compared it to Jeff Teague shoving LeBron James, as if the two plays were the same. Carter also admitted she enjoys the hate, which wasn't the response many expected from someone trying to move past the controversy. It was a very different approach from the player who originally refused to answer questions about Clark after the incident.
So I'm just like, it's like one of those things, like, it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing. It's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and like it's just one of those things. But like, yeah, it's kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to put out.
You watch every game, every single game, to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and like, it's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's why I said they're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little like tap, like I'm here, not to like harm you or anything. You know, if you want to push somebody, you're gonna like full force.
Despite everything that had happened, the Las Vegas Aces decided to take a chance on Carter for the 2026 season. A team chasing another championship and looking for extra scoring off the bench overlooked the concerns and gave her another opportunity. That meant Carter's chance at redemption came against the exact team and the exact player she had blindsided 2 years earlier. At halftime, Indiana led by just 1 point, 42-41. The Fever were without Caitlin Clark, and the Aces were missing Aya Wilson, yet the game remained completely even. Neither team could pull away as they traded baskets throughout the first 2 quarters, leaving everything to play for in the second half.
Also into the ballgame for the Aces is Chennedy Carter, who is one of the front runners for 6th Player of the Year. She is the best scorer off the bench right now in the league.
The first half was exactly the kind of battle you'd expect from 2 evenly matched teams. It was physical, competitive, and neither side built a lead of more than 6 points. Late in the second quarter, Las Vegas answered with a 7-0 run that erased Indiana's advantage and shifted the momentum. Kelsey Mitchell led the Fever with 12 first-half points, while Jewel Lloyd matched her with 12 for the Aces. It took a clutch jumper from Lexi Hull just before the buzzer to give Indiana a narrow 42-41 lead at halftime. Without that shot, the Fever would have gone into the locker room trailing.
They'll have 6 seconds to work with if they get it here.
I would deny Kelsey Mitchell and not let her catch it.
She's got it. Lloyd and Young make her give it up. Hull off the bounce, mid-range, got it!
Indiana entered this game after a 7-day break, but coach Stephanie White didn't treat it like time off. Instead, the team used the week to get back to the basics after weeks of dealing with the attention surrounding the Alyssa Thomas incident. Aaliyah Boston called the break super great because the packed schedule rarely gives the team time to reset and refocus. White agreed, saying the Fever had a strong week of practice and that the work was starting to pay off. But practice only matters if it shows up on the court, and in the first half, Indiana still looked like a team shaking off the rust. Nothing in those opening 2 quarters hinted at what was coming. The score was tied at 47 early in the third quarter before everything changed. Indiana exploded on a 21-8 run over the final 7 minutes of the quarter, and Las Vegas had no answer. The Aces shot just 3 of 11 in the period and missed every 3-point attempt, while Indiana's defense forced mistake after mistake and turned those stops into easy transition points.
Got a fingertip in there. Loose ball, and Monique with the hustle play will get Mitchell a clean look, and she'll knock down the triple.
Kelsey
Mitchell was the biggest reason that run turned the game into a comfortable win. She scored 11 points by herself in the third quarter, getting to the free throw line, attacking off the catch, and forcing the Aces defense to keep rotating until it finally broke down. Mitchell finished the night with 27 points, marking her 3rd straight game with at least 25 points. Every basket she scored in that third quarter came at the exact moment Las Vegas desperately needed a defensive stop but couldn't get one.
Hey, Coach, what was your assessment of the second half? I feel like it was pretty active, good showing in the first, or would you point to unforced turnovers or offensive rebound battle there? What did you see in the second half?
Boards definitely hurt us, but I thought we, quite frankly, ran out of gas. But we looked tired. Couldn't muster up enough energy to sprint into screens offensively. But the O boards definitely hurt us in the third quarter. Gets to be a compounding effect when you're not getting stops or they're getting second, third, fourth opportunities. It's just super deflating.
Las Vegas couldn't find its rhythm from beyond the arc, finishing just 4 of 19 from three-point range, a poor 21.1% that only got worse as fatigue set in. Indiana also controlled the glass, out-rebounding the Aces 39-30, including a 13-6 edge on the offensive boards. After the game, Becky Hammon admitted rebounding was a major problem and said her team looked tired in the second half. That allowed Indiana's role players to keep extending the lead. By the end of the third quarter, the Fever were comfortably ahead 68-55, and the game had clearly swung in their favor. But hidden inside that dominant 21-8 run was another story unfolding at the same time. Every time Chennedy Carter touched the ball during that stretch, something was happening that had nothing to do with the scoreboard.
Coach, you just talked about running out of gas, but in these second halves where things kind of fall flat for you guys, what are some of the commonalities that you're noticing?
Well, in the third, like I said, I mean, our offense has to help our defense to a certain degree. That's the fastest team in the league, you know, so far as pace and push and pace. So when we're either taking quick shots or not good shots, you know, they're just off to the races, and it puts your defense behind right away.
0. That's the number next to Chennedy Carter's name on the final box score. If you're a Las Vegas Aces fan, that's a stat that stands out for all the wrong reasons. Carter entered the game as the WNBA's leading scorer off the bench, averaging big numbers and earning a reputation as one of the league's most dangerous scorers. This was exactly the kind of game the Aces signed her for, especially with Aya Wilson unavailable and the team needing extra offense. Instead, Carter played 15 minutes, attempted just 2 shots, missed both, and finished with 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. That wasn't just an off night. She never found any offensive rhythm. Las Vegas expected her to provide an instant scoring spark off the bench whenever the offense stalled. Instead, she looked completely out of sync. The Aces finished with a season-low 68 points, and the player they counted on for offensive energy couldn't make an impact.
Number 7 in black. Raven trying to go to work on her. Hines Allen swings it around to Cunningham. Top 5 in the WNBA from downtown. Raven.
Sophie Cunningham's assignment that night was Chennedy Carter, and it didn't look like a coincidence. Both players came off the bench during the same stretches, meaning every time Carter checked in, Cunningham was already waiting for her. It looked like a game plan from Coach Stephanie White to make sure Carter never got comfortable. Cunningham fought through screens, denied passes before Carter could even turn to receive the ball, and made every touch a battle instead of allowing an easy rhythm shot. That's the difference between simply guarding a player and taking them completely out of the game. Most defenders just contest shots. Cunningham made sure Carter barely even caught the ball in a position to take one, chasing her through screens and beating her to every catch point. She also made an impact offensively, scoring 9 points while shooting 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. It was the kind of complete two-way performance that doesn't always make the highlights but plays a huge role in winning games.
We saw you guys pregame, Sophie, and pretty much everywhere you guys go, right? Fever Nation is supporting you, and you guys are giving it back. What's it like to have this kind of environment everywhere you're going, even when you're away from home?
Man, I know a lot of teams say that every game is a home game. Sorry, I was just saying if we got that charge call or not. We didn't. But I really do believe that. I think Fever, we have the best fans in the W. Worldwide, I really think. Wherever we go, it's a home game for us. And so we just try to put on, work hard, play hard, and, you know, we just got to work on our consistency. They show out for us, and we need to show out for them.
Here's what makes this whole story come full circle. Sophie Cunningham became Caitlin Clark's protector when it became clear the league was allowing other teams to take cheap shots at her. Now she's the player who completely shut down the same opponent who blindsided Clark 2 years ago. That's not the kind of coincidence that needs much explanation. What's even more interesting is that both Cunningham and Chennedy Carter are in the middle of the 6th Player of the Year race this season. This game made a strong case for Cunningham. Carter may have put up better counting stats earlier in the season, but shutting down the very player you're competing against for the award carries far more weight than scoring points after a blowout has already been decided.
Wins the tip and gets him the possession. Cunningham, deep 3. Got it! Her second of the ball game.
Carter didn't just have a bad shooting night. She was completely taken out of the game, and Sophie Cunningham was the biggest reason why. Every possession turned into nothing. Taking only 2 shots in 15 minutes isn't about bad luck. It's what happens when a player is denied the ball, pushed off her spots, and forced out of the offense every time she tries to get involved. That's the image that sticks with you. Carter sitting on the bench in the fourth quarter, watching Indiana pull away while the scoreboard still showed 0 next to her name. It also raised an important question. What does a championship contender look like when one of its key players can't make an impact? Indiana gave everyone the answer that night, and it wasn't a good one for Las Vegas.
They're playing their 4th game in 8 days.
Cheyenne Parker-Tyus only played 7 minutes in that first half. She's back on the floor, and Boston with her first triple.
Boston trying to go to work. Spins away from the double and gets a couple of bounces to go.
Boston's footwork inside. Look, she takes those 2 hard dribbles to the midline, spins away. That soft touch gets a kind roll.
Aaliyah Boston finished with 18 points and 10 rebounds, shooting 7 of 13 from the field. But the stat that really stands out is her 3 of 4 shooting from beyond the arc. That matched the season high she previously set against Atlanta, and at this point it doesn't look like a fluke anymore. Boston's ability to stretch the floor changes the way Indiana's offense operates because defenders can no longer sag off her and crowd the paint. Las Vegas spent the night trying to decide whether to protect the basket or close out on the perimeter, and whenever they guessed wrong, Boston made them pay. That's how you end up giving 18 points and 10 rebounds to a player teams once left wide open at the 3-point line.
That'll be a blast. There has been a Connecticut player on the roster of 21 of the 29 WNBA champions. Snakes in behind it. Smith on the drive, blocked by Boston initially.
Kelsey Mitchell finished with 27 points, marking her 3rd straight game with at least 25 points. What made the performance even more impressive was that it wasn't just because her jump shot was falling. She shot 7 of 18 from the field, but attacked the basket relentlessly, earned 12 trips to the free throw line, and made 10 of those attempts. That's what it looks like when a guard takes control of a game through pure aggression, constantly putting pressure on the defense, getting to the rim, and forcing foul after foul.
Mitchell off the screen to that left hand. Got a fingertip in there. Loose ball, and Monique with the hustle play will get Mitchell a clean look, and she'll knock down the triple. Harris will push 3-on-2. Billings leaves it for Mitchell. Good trail triple for Indy.
Lexi Hull finished with 10 points on 5 of 10 shooting, and her 2 biggest baskets came right at the buzzer. The first came at the end of the first half, a 14-foot floater that banked in just as the horn sounded. The officials initially waved it off, but after a review, they counted the basket. That shot gave Indiana a 1-point lead at halftime instead of sending the Fever into the locker room trailing. Her second buzzer beater came later in the game, as she got the shot off just before the clock expired once again. Both baskets came at crucial moments, creating huge momentum swings and energizing Gainbridge Fieldhouse when Indiana needed it most.
Hines Allen. Shot clock winding down. Hull gonna have to jack one. And gets it to go!
That's 2 buzzer beaters!
Monique Billings played 21 minutes and finished with 6 points and 6 rebounds, including a key offensive rebound off Aaliyah Boston's missed free throw that kept an important possession alive when Las Vegas desperately needed a stop. Raven Johnson added 6 points and 6 rebounds in 22 minutes. She also made a rookie mistake by grabbing her own tip on a jump ball, resulting in a turnover, but she still gave Indiana valuable minutes. After the win, Boston explained how important the 7-day break had been. She said the schedule usually leaves almost no time to reset, but this time the team had a chance to refocus and prepare properly. According to Boston, that extra practice time helped everyone lock back in before the grind of the season picked up again. And the preparation showed in the third quarter. Every player was in the right position, the defense stayed connected, and nobody had to carry the offense alone.
Fever dub!
First dub on the road.
Remember the Alyssa Thomas incident from last season and how it seemed to leave Indiana on the back foot? This version of the Fever doesn't look like a team that's worried about getting pushed around anymore. This wasn't just one player getting hot. It was a complete team effort, from the starters to the bench, proving they can win a big game without relying on a single star. Indiana now sits in the 6th seed with a 3-game cushion, and the rest of the league knows Caitlin Clark is still set to return. The final score was 84-68, giving the Fever a convincing 16-point road win without Clark. It also marked Indiana's first regular season victory in Las Vegas after losing its previous 11 games there. Meanwhile, Chennedy Carter finished with 0 points on what was supposed to be her comeback moment. Now Clark is about to rejoin a team that has already shown what it can do without her. Boston, Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham proved the Fever can beat quality opponents as a complete unit. Add Clark back to that lineup, and every team in the league has a reason to be concerned. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, show Sophie Cunningham some love for her defensive performance, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest WNBA news and top stories. Click the video on your screen, and we'll see you in the next one.